Hey, so today I want to talk about how you can sort of gamify some of the recovery stuff. Well, anorexia gives you some rather, or gave me, from myself, I can say, anorexia gave me some rather weird skills. So, for example, over the years, I developed this skill of having sort of X-ray vision for energy deficit. So I could look at a table full of food, and without even really thinking about it, I knew exactly how to eat the least, what I needed to eat the least. I could look at all of the things that I had to do in a day, and without even thinking about it, I knew how I could move the most. And this is just this weird skill that was almost like unconscious when I'd had anorexia for a couple of years. So it's a bit like I had developed X-ray goggles for energy deficit. Those weren't X-ray goggles, these are actually eclipse goggles. They're for like looking at the sun, which was really quite weird, and I didn't really actually think the eclipse was much. We didn't have a full eclipse here. Anyway, but that's what it was like. It was like I had this super skill of being able to see energy deficit and being able to know how to eat the least and how to move the most in any given situation. It was my superhero skill. It wasn't a particularly great superhero skill in terms of my body and my life and my social life and all of the other things, but nevertheless, that was my superhero skill. So in recovery, I had to turn that around. Now, you know, the other thing about this and this superhero skill is it used to make me feel kind of like warm and happy whenever I used it. So when I knew that I created the most energy deficit in my day, I got a reward feeling for that. I felt clever. It was like a game to see how I could eat the least and do the most in every day. And that game was the game that I was really good at and I was winning at. And when I went into recovery and I wasn't doing that anymore, well, I sort of missed feeling good at something. I missed using my super skill. I missed finishing every day and knowing that I'd succeeded in creating energy deficit, which to say now is so sad, isn't it? Like, who gives a shit? It's like a game that I used to play that only I cared about and no one else in the world gave a shit, apart from other people with anorexia. But anyway, so what I did in recovery is I started to play this game the other way around. I used my super skill to see how much energy surplus I could create in a day. How much could I eat? If I looked at the table of food, what's the most nutrient dense foods? What are the biggest foods that I can eat? What is the most bang for my buck in terms of calories? If I could look at my day, what's the least I can do movement wise? How can I create the most energy surplus? So I was using my solar eclipse, not actually X-ray goggles super skill for seeing energy deficit, and I was turning it around. And I was like using that to help me create energy surplus in my body. And because I'm a bit of a geek and naturally quite a competitive person, and I do play sort of games with myself, I've always done that once I was a child, like seeing if I can do things. I was then able, it was like a bit of a game again to see how much energy surplus I could create. And I would feel good and like I was winning when I was able to eat the most nutrient dense foods and do the least, and actually turn that rather weird super skill of being able to see energy balance and use it in favor of my recovery. And my body was really, really happy about that.